Thank you for watching Fox 9 News at 5. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Jeff Passelt. The cult leader, accused of more than 50 counts of criminal sexual conduct, has pled guilty.
The Fox 9 investigators broke this story about Victor Barnard 2 years ago when a group of women called the Maidens of River Road in Pine City came forward saying that Barnard abused them when they were young girls.
Our investigation led to criminal charges, and Barnard fled to Brazil before being extradited after a worldwide manhunt. Tom Lydon broke the story 2 years ago, and he was in court. So, Tom, no one expected a guilty plea today, did they?
I sure did, and this was a real stunner. I am told this deal came together very quickly over the weekend. The defense attorneys approaching prosecutors on Friday. The thing that's so strange about this, there is nothing in this for Victor Barnard. Even if he was found guilty on all 52 counts he was facing, he likely would have done about 30 years in prison. In pleading guilty to just 2 counts, he agrees to go to prison for 30 years. He gets nothing. His defense attorneys say he wanted to spare the victims an ugly trial, but one of those victims told me today that Barnard wants to go down as a martyr. It was a moment that took a Pine County courtroom by surprise. Victor Barnard pleading guilty to 2 counts of sexually abusing 2 15-year-old girls in his religious group a decade ago, agreeing to 30 years in prison. Lindsay Ternambi was one of those girls.
Do you believe him when he says he did this to spare you a trial?
No, definitely not.
Barnard's attorney says after fleeing to Brazil, Barnard wanted to plead guilty to spare the victims a potentially brutal trial in which their own family members would likely testify against them.
I have no doubt that if we ended up in a trial in this matter, there would have been a lot of salacious reporting in the case, and that it would have gotten to be very difficult for a lot of people involved, and I believe that that was likely part of what he considered.
Do you believe he's doing this because he wants to spare Lindsay and Jess a trial?
I do not.
The prosecutor doesn't buy it.
I think I'd agree with what Lindsay was stating, and I think it was more for his followers than anything.
For his followers?
Correct.
And that he becomes a martyr?
Yeah.
Barnard always told his followers in the River Road Fellowship he was Christ in the flesh, even dressing as a shepherd. It was 2 years ago that Ternambi and Jess Schweiss came forward to tell the Fox 9 investigators how they were part of a group of firstborn girls, the Maidens, and how they were forced to have sex with Barnard, in some cases with their parents' permission.
Honestly, I haven't really had a family since I was 13. So, you know, they made their choice and I made mine, and I don't consider them family anymore. So, you know, they decided to stand with Victor and support him in what he did.
Originally, there were 140 members of the River Road Fellowship in Pine County before many moved to the Washington area. Only 3 of his followers showed up in court today, and they left without saying a word. As for Barnard, he's continued writing from jail, mostly about the Apostle Paul and his time in prison, writing sermons, even as he confesses to sin.
Anyone who would look at this case and see that he chose to do 30 years, sit in prison, knows that he must be guilty, and I think he does too.
The judge today asked Victor Barnard a series of about 30 questions, asking whether he understood all the rights that he was giving up here. It was interesting, though. At one point, Victor Barnard paused and wanted to talk to his attorney when the judge said, "You have to understand you are giving up your right to complain and appeal the extradition, or even to complain about whether you got good counsel." He talked to his attorney. Then Victor Barnard said he understood and he agreed. He will be sentenced formally later this month, but that's really a fait accompli. He is looking at 30 years in prison. He is 55 right now. He will be 85 if and when he gets out, but his defense attorney tells me that Victor Barnard recognizes he may very well die in prison. Guys, back to you.